Welcome back. In a show of support today from the Trump administration, Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth visited with members of the National Guard deployed to patrol Washington, D.C. Take a look.
We don't have to live like this. We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and by disorder and by chaos. You can actually do stuff. You can actually bring law and order to communities. You've just got to have the political willpower to do it.
Now, the visit comes as the National Guard expands its presence in the nation's capital, both in scale and numbers. Troops are now patrolling additional sites in the city, including metro stations, as 6 Republican governors order Guard members from their states to deploy to D.C. Meanwhile, 2 senior law enforcement officials confirmed to NBC News that the Justice Department is investigating whether D.C. police manipulated crime data to make crime rates appear lower than they really were. That comes after President Trump claimed on social media that the district gave fake crime numbers in order to create a false illusion of safety. NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Reilly joins me now. Ryan, thank you so much for being here. So let's start with the fact that the National Guard is now expanding what it is doing here in D.C. What exactly does that mean? What will it look like?
Well, we still have the presence over at Union Station nearby here, but they've also apparently expanded beyond, as you saw there was on the metro. So it's gone sort of maybe beyond sort of the tourist areas that people would expect. What the Trump administration has sort of argued is that by having that presence, you can offset and have other individuals in sort of, areas of the city that might be considered more crime hotspots. And they've obviously added a lot of federal officers to back up local patrol officers here. Yeah,
they absolutely have. And a number of the National Guard members who are here are from other states. About how many, and are we expecting more governors to send in their Guard troops?
Yeah, I was trying to do the math, and I think, we could be potentially approaching thousands, right? 2,000. It wouldn't be outside the realm here because, you consider all of the hundreds of officers that a lot of the guardsmen that all of these various states are sending in, as well as the ones who are based in D.C. So in total, it could be that number. Now, remember, those are shifts, so that's not going to be that many people out on the street all at once. But I think the total scope of people could be in that ballpark.
And what is the latest with this investigation that the Justice Department is doing into whether local crime statistics have been manipulated? Is there any evidence whatsoever to back that up?
There was one individual case where an officer in one particular district had been accused of this, but not on a mass scale that they're sort of talking about here. And this is just this very unusual approach that we've seen from the Justice Department overall, in which they are sort of announcing or leaking these investigations up front. Right? This is not normally how this process works. It's not clear what criminal statute that would necessarily fall under, what the federal hook could potentially be here. So a lot of the details, I think, aren't quite there, but that's certainly something they've wanted to get the message out that they're looking into.
And then finally, Ryan, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington says it's no longer going to seek felony charges against people who are carrying rifles or shotguns. Why?
Great question. I think it's because, the Second Amendment considerations here in some of the Supreme Court decisions, there's a local law that has a ban on handguns, but that's, quite a departure from what we've seen in the past. And there are still other ways potentially for them to prosecute crimes involving guns, of course, if they're used in violence. But, are there a lot of people out there on the streets necessarily with long guns at the moment? Not necessarily so. But if there's some sort of drug hook, they could still prosecute it that way. So it doesn't take them off the table completely, but it is quite a departure for the U.S. Attorney's Office.
All right. Ryan Reilly covering all the angles for us. Really appreciate it. Great to see you. Thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.